Garrett Wing, who has a YouTube channel. I have linked his channel below, and please give a warm welcome to our guest, Garrett. Hello, Garrett.
Hey, thank you so much, Melanie, for having me. Lacerations, that's what they look like.
It's undoubtedly that those are clearly lacerations, not abrasions.
Dr. Sheridan, is this one of the photographs that you reviewed in reaching your opinions and conclusions in this case?
Yes, it is.
Could you describe the injuries that you see in this photograph?
These injuries that you're looking at here on the arm are abrasions, which are friction injuries, basically.
We all know what an abrasion looks like. It's insulting to us to suggest that those are abrasions.
Would you describe the injuries to Officer O'Keefe's right forearm as lacerations or abrasions?
Those are abrasions.
Those are abrasions?
Yeah, I would call those abrasions.
We classify them under the general category of blunt force injury.
The lacerations.
But these particular ones are abrasions. Abrasions being where the outer layer of the skin, the epidermis as it's called, has been scraped off. These are friction injuries, essentially.
Kind of similar to something we may see a little later. Pretty interesting, right? Don't mind the discoloration. This was just a funky mold. But again, look at the lacerations. And I have to kind of spread it because of the material, but they're more like cut wounds.
These two scratches, there is no puncture, you say. You don't know what direction it's going in. There's no anchor on the bottom. But yet, your opinion is that these are dog bites.
I believe they are, yes.
Based on just simply looking at them.
I think for the most, well, maybe I made a mistake.
I don't think so. I think your opinion has changed.
That is unfair. That's incorrect.
It wasn't until Mr. Alisi directed you that you started talking about dog attack and collection of wounds as a whole.
They are the result of animal bites or scratches.
To those who say those are paw scratches, you say?
No. Paw scratches wouldn't be good. Maybe from a lion or a bear, but...
Scratches.
How can you give an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty it was canines, and in the same breath and statement say, well, it's possibly claw wounds as well?
By and large, that kind of looks like a paw print bruise to me. I mean, tell me if I'm crazy, and I don't know if it's possible to bruise post-mortem.
No, it's not.
This particular contusion has two pinpoint small defects associated with it. I believe this could be due to attempts at gaining IV access during the many attempts of resuscitation.
Shards of that broken taillight were littered in his sweaters.
I did not know that.
When's the first time you learned of that?
Right now.
Right now.
There's a garbage in, garbage out problem.
No one ever showed you that?
I don't recall seeing that at all.
Oh boy. Well.
Their output and their determinations are only as good as what they're given, what they're testing, what they're measuring, what they're photographing.
You know, when they did the analysis, there was no dog DNA. What else did you miss?
I don't think I missed anything.
You never actually have looked at the physical evidence. You just looked at a couple of photos.
I looked at photos, correct.
Come to find out, the feds actually hired multiple experts to determine if the marks on John O'Keefe's arms were from a dog attack.
Get that expert opinion from the United States Attorney's Office when they investigated this case to consider as part of peer review.
Objection, Your Honor.
No, I did not get that. They don't have my experience. I'm sorry.
Do you know if Mr. Walsh had your experience or not?
I don't.
So he could have more experience for all you know.
Oh, I'm highly unlikely.
Okay, you have more experience than anybody in the country.
I think I have at least as much experience as any other possible person in the country.
Joining me, a dog bite expert who has been retained in more than 1,000 cases over 3 decades.
And with no interest in disparaging the doctor, I would disagree with her.
They don't line up. They're not even. Backwards.
It would be an odd configuration.
Well, odd, it would be like, believe it or not, the dog would have to have their teeth the opposite way.
I could see how that could happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing about these that are particular or specific or endemic to a dog bite, is there?
It's garbage in, garbage out.
If you had an opportunity to go safely and look at Chloe, you would be able to tell the size of Chloe's jaw. You could measure it.
Possibly, yes.
Did you ever discuss going to see Chloe and doing these studies on Chloe so you could see if they were dissimilar to these abrasions?
I was asked to evaluate the wounds.
I want access to that dog. I might want to measure his claws. I might want to measure his teeth. I might want to have a forensic veterinarian look at the dog, examine the dog.
I don't think I need to see Chloe.
Well, you said earlier when I asked you about particular wounds, it would be helpful to know these things about missing teeth and spacing and distance between the canines. Is that no longer helpful to your opinion?
No, I think you're mischaracterizing what I said. I believe I said that it would give information.
She did not look at the broken taillight in detail to see if the jagged edges of the casing and the glass could have matched the wounds. She wanted to say they were dog bites. She wanted her payday, and that's the bottom line.
It's garbage in, garbage out.
Yep. Garbage in, garbage out. Welcome back to the circus, friends. This week's episode of Justice vs. Delusion, the Karen Read Chronicles. How's everyone doing? The latest motion that I seen come out of this was Turtle Boy trying to suppress the phone calls between him and Karen, citing Kevin from Yellow Cottage Tales, Kate, and Jen Coffindaffer, saying that they have connections and they will release all his private information. If only they had the same connections that he had, because clearly he has connections. Clearly. It does look like he wrote the motion himself. It was pretty weak. But you know, when you're making $50,000 a night, I guess he can't afford someone to write it for him. Or maybe he had AI do it. Who knows? But jury selection kicks off next week, and the big question is, has Karen's lowbrow propaganda parade done enough damage to slide another pink-clad brainstem onto the panel? We're not talking about neutral thinkers here. We're talking about the kind of people who think reasonable doubt means binge-watching YouTube until your frontal lobe gives up. Last time around, she managed to stuff a few of her Kool-Aid crew into the jury box. Will history repeat itself? Will the Commonwealth's courtroom turn into another episode of Survivor Norfolk County? At this point, it's less about reasonable doubt and more about getting someone reasonably deranged on the jury pool. The propaganda machine has been running harder than a gas stove and a FEMA trailer, cranking out half-baked theories and wholehearted delusions. And for a shocking number of people, all it takes is 3 days of mainlining Reddit threads and TikTok rants and before they achieve enlightenment and realize, wait a minute, none of this makes any sense. Welcome to the club. But here's the kicker. Some of these folks have built their entire identity around defending Karen Read. These aren't just keyboard warriors. These are emotionally bankrupt, purpose-deprived swamp donkeys who found meaning in hashtags and hopium. They aren't protesting for justice. They are fleeing from their own irrelevance. And now they're clinging to this fantasy like it's the last float in their sinking parade of self-worth. Admit Karen's guilty? That's admitting their lives are just as sad as they were before she drove into their feed. So here we are watching a cult form around a cracked taillight and a cracked narrative. Buckle up, court's in session next week, and this clown car is about to hit full speed. Are we ready? I see some people it takes a little bit longer, but I've been seeing some things. There are some more people that are waking up, and I think it's great. Like that wave of, because I believed it for a few days. And like just waking up from it, it's like, it's kind of sad because like you, for the 3 days that you invest yourself in the conspiracy, you are like getting like some kind of, what do they call it? The social media connection to Karen Read, right? You're feeling bad. She's being framed. All these people are against her, and you have that like connection. But then like when you realize it's like you have to give that up, And I think most people do give that up. Like, it's sad. And it took me a day to realize. So like the first step is like, okay, she definitely probably did it, but it was an accident, right? It was completely an accident. What a terrible situation to be in. She was drunk and she was realizing it. And that's like where it starts. But then when you really go back and look at everything again and realize the propaganda that you succumb to, you're just like, shit, this woman is a predator. This woman is evil. Parasocial relationship, that is what I was looking for. So the new theory is that John O'Keefe was pistol whipped. Interesting. Melanie, Little, and Kim were talking about it. I mean, they really need to get it together. I don't know how far you can go down this like rabbit hole of fiction. I mean, like, I think that Aiden, Turtle Boy's going to ride it till the end because he has nothing else. But I feel like some people like would want to like save themselves, you know, at least be like, well, at least I did realize, right? They're talking about him being pistol whipped. I have not heard it. I can't stand any of these people. They're cracked up. They're wild. So there have been a lot more people on TikTok speaking about this case. And it's interesting. So the one lawyer, what is her name? McKinsey or something, or McKinsey. She's an idiot. I don't think she has a job. Like, she might have her law degree somehow, but I don't think she's ever had a client. Like, she watches the case all day and talks about it. She's just not with the program at all. She tries to push it off like, oh, well, common sense will tell you that Karen Read is innocent. Like, common sense. Like, she tried to sell this story that you have to look at what, like, how lucky did the Alberts get, or how lucky did the Alberts get, because that doesn't make sense. Like, because they got so lucky that no one was looking out the window when she hit him, which most murders do not have an eyewitness. So yeah, real lucky that, you know, she just listed off a bunch of things. But like, using her same approach, how lucky would the Alberts have to be if they killed John O'Keefe in that house? So they killed him. Didn't know if Karen was going to come in right after him or not. Like, she was invited, so should have been walking in the door with him. So they killed him, but like, his phone was still in the car with Karen, because that's what the data shows. So she pulls up. She has his phone with her, but she never calls and texts him. So they're lucky there. They're lucky that, well, why would she call and text if the phone is in the car with her, right? And so they kill him. And lucky for them, she's a nut, and she just gets angry and drives away and starts screaming, "I hate you." She takes his phone and tosses it out into the spot where he'd later be found. And the Alberts were like, oh, that's where we should plant his body. Meanwhile, Jen McCabe's heart rate is the lowest it's been all day, in the middle of like committing this murder. And Chloe is just ripping him apart, and, you know, everyone hears it. No one calls the police. No one bats an eye. No one texts anything. No one says anything about it. And they all just decide the best course of action is to just put him on the front lawn where Karen Read just threw his phone out the window, right? So they do that, and they all just go to bed. And we know that they went to bed. We at least know that Jen McCabe went to bed because we have her Apple Watch, and she got up and went to the bathroom one time, but she was calm enough during the whole murder and calm enough to go to sleep. And they just got lucky that Karen Read woke up at 5 a.m. and suddenly started thinking, I did something to John O'Keefe. She wakes up the niece. She says, I think I did something to him. Starts calling people saying, I think he's dead. I think he got hit by a plow. How lucky are the Alberts? Like, they just murdered him. And like, this woman's just like offering herself up as the person that did it. She backs out of the driveway and, you know, cracks the taillight, which is not even a possible thing. I think we're going to hear this in the trial, that it's not even possible that she broke it there. There's no pieces anywhere. And no pieces were ever found anywhere else except around John O'Keefe's body. How lucky are the Alberts? I don't know how the pieces got there, but they're so lucky. They killed him, and like somehow her taillight magically planted itself all over his body. So she rounds up people after saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Oh, well, she's saying, did I hit him at this point, right? So she gets Jen and Kerry together, and she's like, let's go to Fairview. She goes to Fairview and beelines it to a mound of snow. She knew exactly where the Alberts put him. Like, how lucky are they? They committed the perfect murder. And then the medics get there, and Karen starts saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. The Alberts are just like the luckiest murderers in history. I mean, what a coincidence. Like, that's your logic. That's common sense. Like, obviously they did it, and like all these coincidences just happened. And Karen Reed never told any cops or anyone that he ever went inside the house until a year later. How lucky are they? I mean, come on. She never told anyone that something must have happened inside the house. She saw him go inside, never said any of that to anybody. So the Alberts must be, like, just by logic, by using your common sense, you know, they just got lucky. And then somehow her memory must have came back to her a year later, and then she started saying she saw him go inside the house all of a sudden. But if she saw him go inside the house, why would she ever think that she hit him? Did Jen McCabe hypnotize her in the car? Maybe that's what it was. Some magic spells. I mean, the mental gymnastics you have to go through to even suggest that anyone except for Karen is responsible, you really should be locked in a mental asylum immediately. You should not be allowed to drive a car. You should go away, because this does not make sense. None of it makes any sense. And the fact that people can still repeat it, and like, you know, Colin Albert is just like, it's just so out there that Colin Albert did it. Dude got 0 breezes and he thinks he was hit by a car. What is wrong with you people? Well, you think that nobody... She said she clipped him. Arca also testified that if it was a sideswipe accident, there would be very little injury. So Arca told you why. And Karen told you why when she said she clipped him and she didn't think he was mortally wounded. That should tell you everything you need to know. She hit him hard enough to knock him down, and to feel like, you know, she just knocked him down. She was still pissed, still screaming, I hate you. She didn't think she killed him. She didn't think he was mortally wounded. She thought he'd shake it off and just go in the house. And that's what she thought happened. Until she woke up and realized there was no call or text from John O'Keefe. And that's when she really realized that what she did. And she started saying he's dead, hit by a plow. No one in their right mind would ever say, oh, he must be hit by a plow, if they dropped someone off at a house in a blizzard. Like, why would he be out in the street to begin with? He wouldn't be. He didn't even have a jacket. So, like, did she think that his friends were just going to, like, not give him a ride home? And the kicker is, in their text messages leading up to this, he says, Karen, are you really coming? I'm counting on you for a ride because Mike's going home. This was at McCarthy's. And she said, yes, I'm coming. I mean, Colin Albert is going to be, I don't know. I don't know that younger people are believing any of this at all. I think that it's not that interesting. I think it's like the older people that have been harassing him. And it's like bizarre to me that like 40, 50-year-old people are going to harass a 17-year-old kid. Now he's like 21. But still, it's like, it's, you know, the whole situation, the way that you can try to blame him, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. He didn't have a beef with John. Even if he did wise off to him one time, it's not like he's harboring resentment. It would be that he's a goddamn kid. So it's like, I don't know. So I don't know if Colin Albert, you know, through social media, it's awful, but I don't know if he deals with it in his regular life regularly. I doubt it. I think, I think for older people, it is worse for younger people for sure, but I don't think that a lot of younger people follow this case. So I think, it is bullshit. It's such bullshit. Karen will walk with her head high. I can't wait. There's a comedian in the chat. This is one of the people that we were talking about earlier, the ones that have no self-worth. And, if Karen Reed is found guilty, basically their entire purpose in life is dead and they might as well off themselves. So I was thinking that, I know that they want to like pursue this case now, but a strategic move would have let the civil suit move forward and then try her after she's been deposed. Because I think she would have had to make statements for the civil suit. And then, but she made all these stupid statements on the documentary. She is the dumbest defendant I've ever seen. Like, ever. It's like unreal. Like, that was the whole thing about the civil suit. They were trying to make her get deposed before this trial, and like they didn't let it happen. But she does this stupid documentary and says all these stupid ass things that don't align with the evidence. Like, it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. Speaking of serial killers, Brian Kohberger. Some of the stuff that's been coming out the past few days, it's wild. I'm going to say the word wrong. Baklava, or something like that. It's basically a ski mask. He bought one at Dick's, a black one, January 2022. So he has a cult too that all think he's being framed and then he's innocent. And baklava. So they didn't find that when they searched his house. They didn't find the knife that matches the knife sheath that they found at the scene. So where did those things go? I wonder. Balaclava. I think that is the right one. Balaclava. I didn't even know that word until today. I was reading like Brian Enton's post about it, and I mean, I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of circumstantial stuff in there, but for me, from what I know so far, I mean, I could change my mind if there is evidence, but I don't see any way that there's a way out for him. Because they're all talking about how he's like so autistic, and I guess he like when he was arrested the first time, his house was swatted, his parents were zip tied, they smashed down doors, and when they put him in the back of the cop's car, he's just like having small talk with the officer, asking if the officer wants to get a cup of coffee at a later date, that he wants to be a police officer and all this stuff. I'm like, what? So like they're trying to use that as like he has no idea what's going on, like how bad things are, what he did. And he's a criminal justice major. He studies crime. He knows what he did is wrong. He literally studies the shit. I mean, I feel bad for the Kohberger family. I mean, that'd be crazy. I mean, the mixed emotions and like how you feel, like it. Yeah, it's rough. We have a brainstem in the chat. Jen, Brian, and Colin are all going to jail. Watch and see. Okay. The feds cleared them, so that's not happening. He should have apologized, or he didn't. I have to stand up principle when I see someone being mistreated. Truly will miss you all, though. I don't know what that is referring to. I want to see. Is this about me? I'm trying to like, what did I do? Oh, so I know that the Young Jerks put a video of me talking about I was approached to do a campaign for it was for the Menendez brothers. And then they were like putting it out like I was getting paid by the state to like talk about Karen Reed, like they twisted my words, which no. So I already had content about the Menendez brothers, and they reached out to me and said, oh, can we use your content, or like can we use your content, or can you repost this content and talk about their upcoming court date? And so I did. And like people are twisting it like I do all my videos for money. No, I do videos to do videos. And sometimes, so the 2 times that I've been approached, or 3 times, cyber sleuths was about the Idaho 4 case. I was on that show on Paramount Plus. That was free. I didn't get paid. I just let them use my content. Lifetime, I had to make videos like commercials for their like true crime shows on TikTok. And then the Menendez brothers. And the Menendez brothers, so my position on that is I've definitely had all kinds of crazy positions on that. But overall, I think when I first came in, I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't really believe the abuse. But to some degree, I was like, but it's been like my entire lifetime pretty much. And, you know, if they have changed, like, should they just stay in jail forever? Like, could they be reformed? And I kind of felt like, you know, maybe people should get a second chance after so much time. And so that was my original position. Then I watched the trial and I saw like all the family members corroborating a lot of the stories. And I was like, something definitely went on there. And then I was like they were like screwed, they were railroaded, which I still do believe that in the second trial, they were kind of railroaded. They didn't allow in a lot of the family members' testimony, which I don't think is right. Because it's not like the Karen Reed trial is different because it's a very specific, time frame of when everything happened. So like, you don't get to hear anything about Karen's history, right? But like the Menendez brothers, everything is tied into how their parents treated them. And the parents were pretty messed up. Like the mom tried to commit suicide multiple times. And she was basically like, Eric Menendez, the younger one, was living with her. And she was like emotionally attached to him, kind of like really in his business. And I think he was like in the closet gay. And that was like something that could not be as far as they were concerned. I think that was like a big part of it. The older brother was away at college, and so like the younger brother was like falling into her depression and like really like getting into it. And they both the mother and Eric Menendez told therapists that they wanted to kill themselves. So like the whole situation at that house was very unhealthy, volatile. And you know, I don't know. And my position is if they were, I believe that something happened. I don't know if it's the exact story that they told, but I think that something definitely went on. At some point, I think when they were younger, for sure, that's when a lot of the family testimony talked about, like when they were younger boys, not when they were like teens. But like no one was around them, so you wouldn't know. But I think there was just a lot of evidence of something going on with them. So I don't know. And like the thing is with like guns, they shouldn't have been able to get those guns. Everything probably happened so fast. Like I don't know. I feel like if they look at their records and they really aren't reformed, which I think that they are, like Eric Menendez, a lot of his stuff is very like altruistic, like helping people that are sick, and he works in hospice and helps other prisoners. Like it does seem like he's devoting his life to like helping others. So like, I don't know. Murder is never the answer. I agree. I just think at their ages, especially the younger one, like things are crazy. I don't think he could see a way out. I don't know. Karen seems sedated in court this week. Yeah, I think eyewitness testimony in general, you can't trust. But if it's corroborated again and again and again and again, I think, that's how you kind of get to a certain place. So there was like this trial that happened last year. I need to do a video on it because I did collect all the footage and I just never did the video on it because I followed it very closely. I found it extremely interesting because everything was caught on video. The entire incident was caught on video. And it was like the Apple River stabbing. And there was witnesses everywhere. There were people in tubes, tubing down the lazy river, drinking. Everyone was drinking. So similar to the Karen Reed case. And people knew that it was caught on video. So it's not like they were lying on purpose. But like nobody saw the same shit. Like nobody, even people that were sober. So I think that things just happen so fast that people don't, I don't know. And it's a common thing with like eyewitness testimony. It's like different people are focused on different things. Out of all the people there were like 20 people around. One kid saw the knife, one person, and started saying, he has a knife, back up. And then he just started stabbing people. And people were still laughing as he's stabbing people because nobody knew that he was stabbing people. Like it is crazy. It's a crazy case. And there's bloodthirsty people about that case too, that saw like the video and they're like, that man was getting bullied. Which if you watch the trial, that's not at all what happened. He was acting crazy and like approaching this young group of kids. It's really good because it was a quick trial because it was just about the events of that day. They didn't go back in time. And it was just all the different witnesses. And the video was like the main part of it, like slowing down the video and like seeing exactly, the kids were like pointing, like, get out of here. And he has a knife down. He's opening the blade and like has this crazy smile on his face. It's so creepy because he was a completely normal guy before that. And he comes off as a normal guy, but like he's someone that on his Facebook, he had all kinds of like First Amendment or Second Amendment things. And, in the first interview with police, he's like, oh, well, this is Wisconsin. Self-defense doesn't matter here or something. So he was like one of those people looking for that opportunity at some point to do something. Yeah, it is. It's awful. Apple River stabbing. I'll do a video on it soon. It's like, it's a lot about self-defense because, that was their argument. That was the argument. It wasn't whether he did it or not, even though he lied. So like he was interrogated by police and he's like, oh, I don't know what happened. I saw a fight going on. And like he stabbed all these kids and then he just goes back to his family, puts his hat on, throws the knife in the woods and just goes floating down the river with his wife and a group of people like nothing ever happened. And he almost got away. And they caught him at the end of the river and he acted like he had no idea what was going on. And then he lied and said they pulled a knife on him. And then he lied. He kept lying. And eventually it's on video, buddy. And a lot of people support him. A lot of people support him. A lot of law tubers support him. Because they're like, it was self-defense, clear as day. And to me, it's like, hell no. It was a good one, for sure. I think all the kids the kids were like so remorseful because they were like kind of like, so the guy runs up on them, scared them, and they're all like, "You pedophile, get away from me!" And they all started like kind of taunting him and stuff. And they're all so remorseful for it because the guy killed one of their friends. But at the same time, he's the adult. Like, what are you running up on kids like that for? Like, I would never in a million years run up to a group of teenagers like that and like grab their floats and like grab their legs. Like, that's insane. That's insane. Yeah, there was no reason for him to even have a knife. They weren't trying to beat him up. None of that was happening. He punched someone in the face with the knife in his hand, ready to start stabbing people. Yeah, one of them was gutted. He survived. The one that was gutted survived. The younger kid that got a knife through the heart did not survive. So the funny thing is, so he got slapped when he was on the ground. But when he was first, so I don't know if he was actually even punched or hit at all. Besides that one slap that's on the video, because it looks like one kid, a few of them said that they punched him, but then they saw the video and they were like, "Oh, I guess I didn't punch him." Like, nobody knew what the hell was going on because it happened so fast. And like in his initial interrogation with police, he's like, "Oh, I slipped and fell on the rocks, and that's why he hit the ground, not that someone pushed him." And then some girl came up and slapped me. And it wasn't a girl, it was actually one of the boys. But that's all that happened. And he started stabbing people. But he already had the knife out. He was instigating for it to happen. And that's what, the dog park murder in Tampa that just happened. That's literally what happened there. And that guy got away with it. He was like antagonizing this guy for months, almost a year. And when the guy finally acted out, he blew him away and he got away with it. Stand your ground. And that's the difference between Wisconsin and Florida. I think it's crazy. So, yeah, so the motion, so I don't know if that Gavin guy that was just on that video is going to be able to testify. I don't think the judge has ruled on that yet. I don't think he will. I mean, I don't think he's qualified at all. He's calling them lacerations when every single doctor has said they were abrasions. Like, he's kind of disproving that they aren't dog bites because he's saying lacerations. So I don't know. And then this video, or this thing that we see all the time. So like, here's the thing. They're trying to say, like, if you just look at the pattern, yes, you can say that John O'Keefe's pattern, I don't think anyone's ever denied that the pattern does resemble a dog attack or something. But if you look at the actual dog attack, you can see there's like the raised edges, there's depth to those wounds. There's raised edges. It's darker in the middle. John O'Keefe's wounds were very flat. There was no depth to them. They were abrasions. These are like penetration and lacerations. Some of them are scratches, but like none of this is raised. Yeah, John O'Keefe's marks match the goddamn taillight, especially that lower one. It's too mechanical looking. I 100% agree with that. I mean, if you look at what happened to Trooper Proctor, Jen McCabe, like this case should, if it teaches you anything, it's that you don't just blindly give up your phone to the police, even if you're innocent. Because they're going to find shit on your phone. They're going to take it out of context. They're going to, ridicule you, whether it's like, a bad joke or like some kind of like language that you're using, or who knows, you looked at some weird website, like who knows, but like any of that is like fair game. And like, it's not right. And that's why I think that's why they got rid of their phones. They were going to use anything and they still didn't find it. Even with the feds like getting involved, they still found nothing. So Yeah, confidential info for sure. Oh, this is how trashy these people are. Like, these people really have something wrong with them. Like, really something wrong with them. So, first of all, they're all, like, hideous. But they have a cutout of Paul O'Keefe with his shirtless picture hanging, like, with them at a bar. Like, how sick are these people? I just can't. Like, if you think about what this is, it's like a victim's family is being harassed. Like, his cutout is being brought to bar so that they can, like, try to ridicule him. It's a victim's family member. Someone was murdered. This is his brother. This is his family. And these people who have no relation to John O'Keefe whatsoever are harassing the murdered person's family. Like, these people are so sick. And, like, if I asked AI what this picture was, it would say swamp donkeys and some old man in the front. And Free Karen Reid, I feel like, is mostly women. We see, like, a mix on the people that speak out about it, but I think the movement itself is mostly women. It's women that I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what it is. Feeling like, I think it's like feminists maybe that feel like Karen's like standing up to the system. Women are into true crime. That's true. I mean, Paul O'Keefe is the best looking person in this picture by far. So, I mean, I feel like, I guess, like, the people at the bar are probably like, I guess that's a celebrity. Like, I have no idea. I mean, they're trying to bully him. I don't even think he gives a shit, though. Because, I mean, what do we have to compare him to? We can compare him to this. That's his competition. I don't know. Disappointing that it's mostly women feel that they are part of something and belong. Lonely women. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with the Free Karen Reid people. But we have been getting some new people. Some new people speaking out, and I think it's real of Turtle Boy. I have no idea, to be honest.
Reid, how you doing today? Just wanted to check up on you. Sure you have seen the new documentary that's been coming out, Body in the Snow, on ID. I'm watching on Max. I'm watching it on Hulu with the Max extension, but I just wanted to see how you're doing. I know it's not going well for you. I know it's very frustrating. You guys have spent a lot of time invested in Karen's innocence, and it is falling apart at her own doing. I don't think this second trial is going to be very hard for Brennan. Do you? I mean, Karen's really digging her own grave. So I just wanted to check up on you, see how you're doing. I know you're a very emotional bunch, very tender bunch, a lot of outbursts. And, you know, despite our differences, I do hope the best for you. I really do, because you're a bunch of mentally ill people. So, all right, have a good day. You know, and I really mean that. Have a good day. Not the day you deserve. Have a good one. going to be a long night tonight for you.
This girl's funny. I like her. She's on TikTok, and I think she made one video on it, and she said that she basically she has a bunch of videos, but they're like harassing her now, so now she's fighting back. But she was watching the trial, and she was like, I was totally in so deep in the conspiracy. And she's like, and then one day it was like someone threw cold water on me, and I just woke up and was like, realized that I was ingesting propaganda. And that's why she felt she needed to speak up. She's originally from, I think, Lexington, but she lives in LA now. But she's posting a lot about it. She's cool. I think she's good. Like the way that she talks about things, I think it's she just thinks it's a really horrible thing. Like what Karen's doing, she thinks Karen's a predator. She thinks that she feels bad for all the supporters, basically. But they really are deranged. They really are deranged people. I just don't know when it's just going to be amazing if they actually get the harassment in. Because they are actually insane. And it's funny to me when Turtle Boy is like, oh, I never harassed anybody, ever. I don't even have Discord. I should look on there. I'll probably get more information. I'll more up-to-date information. I just can't imagine that Karen is going to try the dog bite and all this crap again. Like, it's beyond me. I mean, the harassment is like really going to do it. Like, I was like trying to find so if you have like Gen AI, whatever, it can find videos, and like that's what I've been using lately to try to find stuff. Like I'm like, because I remember Turtle Boy saying like Jesus wants you to hate them, and going on and on and on about it, about how Jesus wants you to hate the McAlberts, and it's okay to harass them, and it's all okay to like be mean to them. Jesus wants you to hate them, and he kept saying it. And Gen AI found the video, but like every time I click on it, like he must have deleted it. So but hopefully they got that before he took it down. But I've been like trying to revisit some of his
or else
old
they would have
hits.
pulled a McCabe and gone to a Gunquit. But we are outside the home of Julie Nagel. Julie Nagel, at first I thought that, maybe she's not that much of a part of it. Maybe she was just there. Obviously, she didn't do it. I mean, she's not going to beat and kill John O'Keefe. That doesn't make any sense. But she is the girlfriend of Brian Albert's oldest son, Brian Albert Jr. And by the way, what is up with the Alberts? Like, does everyone have to name their oldest son after themselves? Is that like a requirement in the Albert family? Apparently, you get the crest. It's literally a cult. So we are, look at all the people here. Holy cow, people are still walking in here. So we're letting people catch up. That was a request. So we're going to wait a couple minutes before talking about what happened there. But thank everybody for coming out today. We really appreciate this.
Yeah, deranged. Absolutely deranged. And if that's going to be played for a jury, and then they're going to see text messages between Karen giving him their addresses, she is so donezo. Oh. There's a lot more where that came from, let me tell you. They showed up at their lacrosse game, the kids' lacrosse games. They were chasing Jen McCabe down the street a few times. He made like a There was really one creepy one that was like, Jen McCabe, I'll always be there watching you. If it's not me, there's someone else taking pictures of you and watching you. Like, it was like really, really, stalking by definition. It was stalking. Right. I mean, he went to the house with a megaphone with a mob of people. See, this is journalism. Right. And that's the thing, like, that's the frustrating thing is, like, he tries to, like, how was he allowed in the courtroom? Like, it would be so easy for Judge Cannoni to be like, you're not a journalist. Because he's not. Like, a journalist does not show up at someone's house with a megaphone in a crowd of people. Oh, yeah, Tom CPU. Yep, he's a creep. And the thing is, Turtle Boy knows that all of this is not true. He knows this isn't true. I like debated with him way back in, I don't even know when it was, August last year. August 2023, actually. And he was like trying to say that I was lying. And I was literally reading from the arrest affidavit. He's like, none of this, you're just making all this stuff up. And it's like, I know that he has read the affidavit. So like, he is literally just lying. And then we see the text with him and Karen, and he knows that she's guilty, and he's harassing people that he knows are innocent. Like, that's the sick part about it. It's like so sick. And like, if they can see in his text messages that he knew that she was guilty and he was doing this to innocent people, like, that's a level up, because that shows malice. And I don't know if they have enough to be able to prove that, but I don't believe for a second that. I think he maybe at first he believed it, but in the text you can see that he doesn't believe it, and he's frustrated, and he feels like he's like, what did she get me into? This doesn't make any sense. And it was at the point where, because he was saying that John O'Keefe was found on top of the snow, and he wasn't even cold. Like, they just put him out there right before she came, because that's what Karen told him. And that whole scenario turned out to be a lie. Like, he was under the snow, nobody could see him. There was very poor visibility, and there's dash cams and everything else to prove that he was lying. But he went on and on and on about that. And he was mad because that story changed, and he's like, well, how would Jen McCabe know that he was dying in the cold if he wasn't even out there yet? I don't like that, because we already said how long to die in cold. So like, they went back and forth with that story. So at first it was like he was out there all night, and then they kept him inside and then put him out right before Karen came, because Lucky didn't see him, I guess. But that's the thing. Like, they think that Lucky Loughran actually helps them, but it actually doesn't. Lucky Loughran, just like Jen McCabe, just like every other person, did not see him on the lawn, because he was by the tree line. It's dark. There's no street light above him. Nobody saw him. Even the first responders said when they got there, they couldn't see him from the street. So somehow Karen knew exactly where he was. Now, why would that be? What are the options? She's psychic. Jen McCabe came in and hypnotized her in the middle of the night. Buried in the snow. Lucky, I think, does not even know what he's talking about. I mean, I feel like he saw something to be a part of, and I think he might have seen some things. He probably saw Kerry Roberts' car out there, because he does drive by at the end of the street when Kerry Roberts is there. And so that's probably the Ford Edge that he thought that he saw. He probably didn't see the people outside the car. You can't see that far. So I don't even know what kind of car she had. It's not a Ford Edge. I think it's a Ford, though. Is that a Ford? I don't know what it was. Lucky was too busy plowing basketball hoops to notice anything, of course. And that's the thing. That was the thing that the jurors even said that he wasn't credible, because he knew the exact time that he passed the Albert's house, but he didn't know what time he hit the basketball hoop, which he had to file a report on. Like, if you filed a report, you had to like revisit that. You had to report it to your superior. Like, that's what you would remember. You would not remember some random house on your route, what time you passed it. So, no. So Carrie had a Ford Explorer. So yeah, a Ford Explorer and a Ford Edge look similar. So that's probably what he saw. And he didn't know what time he saw it at. You know, he had no idea what's going on. Lucky, they did a fundraiser for Lucky, and then they got in trouble for it, I think. So I don't think he was paid. Well, he might have got paid from the fundraiser. Who knows? I mean, Rita made such an ass out of herself so many times, and like this whole thing's fake. She's just a very obnoxious person. And you know, that's what it is. Like, she's a freaking obnoxious person that probably nobody likes, and this gave her friends, and so she took advantage of it. Yep, John O'Keefe is the real victim. And so that's the thing. Like, as soon as I like started speaking about this case, it was before like a lot of people were. Like, I think Yellow Cottage Tales, Kevin was starting to talk, or was talking about it, but he was like in between. Like, he was kind of believing it still. I think he just, I don't know. A lot of people completely believed the conspiracy when I first started talking about it, and I was just getting attacked nonstop. And a lot of people have changed their mind since then. A lot of people. And like, I never said anything different. I just always just said the truth. And when I figured it out, it was before any of we didn't have GPS. Every single piece of evidence that came in after I like started to realize solidified, you know, my opinion. Like, there was no dog DNA on his clothes. We didn't know that when I first figured it out. We didn't have the GPS data. We didn't have a lot of information. And so the only things that were a surprise to me, not really a surprise, well, yeah, I guess they were a surprise, was the Fed papers. Like, I was like, that was the only thing that like took me back a little bit, that I was like, well, maybe, I don't know. Because I thought the Fed investigation was made up for a while. I really didn't know, because I don't have any insider information. I wasn't talking to people. So like, I just was like, are they just making this shit up? Because Turtle Boy makes everything up. Like, I knew he was lying. But then, you know, the stuff that came from that, like Proctor's text, I didn't know anything about that until the trial. But there was nothing really there. So like, I was like, oh, that's it. That's everything they have. And that was, I mean, it was pretty disappointing, as I was expecting. I did think it's at some point I did question whether someone did something to enhance the case, and that was going to come out during trial, and it never did. I was thinking that maybe they did do something with the taillight. Maybe they did do something extra to like push the needle. I had that question during the trial, and then when I found out like all the pieces fit back into her taillight, I thought they were going to find some other taillight that didn't belong to her car or something, but nothing came out. Nothing. And I was like, okay, I was definitely right then. I mean, the Fed investigation is what got her the mistrial, because without the Feds getting the text messages, without ARCA, what else did the Feds bring in? There was nothing. Like, the only thing that they had was what, like Colin's bloody knuckles and his Snapchat. The Feds brought in every single thing of value to her defense. Like, her experts were garbage. I mean, it's just sad. I said that the ARCA experts came from the feds, and yes, I think that they were like her most valuable witness by far. No arrest, no indictments, nothing. I mean, ARCA is going to get destroyed this time because we know more now. We didn't know what was going on. Lally got scared of them a few times, so Lally was afraid to keep questioning them. But Brennan's prepared because they didn't do the testing to come up with some of the conclusions that some of the assumptions that they, or conclusions that they came up with on the spot at the first trial. I do feel like there's a shift in support, and I do think the documentary did not do what she thought it was going to do. I think that's the biggest one. Because I think, I don't know, the documentary, I did see a lot of videos when it first came out where people were like, what happened? Maybe the first 2 episodes, but I think now that all of the episodes have aired, people are like, yeah, no. Looking forward to tomorrow. Is there something happening tomorrow? I don't even know. I'm out of the loop. I need to be on the Discord. Oh, there is a hearing tomorrow. I didn't even know. I should see. Oh, I see. Yeah, what time is... I will jump on to Kevin's stream probably. I just saw the invite. I didn't even know about it. $10 a.m. I might have to do it from my phone. I tried to StreamYard from my phone before, and it was, I don't know. It's hard to do. I might have to be on my phone now. But I'll listen. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, it's a Turtle Boy hearing. I hope there's messages. I just want to hear like one damning one. It's almost like it doesn't matter though, because I feel like the people that are committed to Karen's side just won't change no matter what. They're too invested. But like the average person is, I don't know, people are very susceptible to like certain things, like the butt dials, but the butt dials are like nothing. Like in a normal trial, that people don't remember calls, especially missed calls. Like they're trying to make this thing out of it, and they've done a good job of it, but there's nothing there. There's nothing there. They wouldn't even have the butt dials if it wasn't for the feds. Like, I think they would have had Jen's calls to him, but they wouldn't have had the butt dials between Higgins and Brian Albert. Like, they wouldn't have had Matt McCabe. They wouldn't be able to cross-examine Matt McCabe without the feds. Like, it's bullshit. Like, those people should be so pissed. Yes, the butt dials are nothing. Like, this is every trial. The butt dials are nothing. Yes. They try to do stuff like this at every trial, and it's always nothing. People don't remember phone calls. So the big thing about the butt dials to notice, to recognize, is that they weren't asked about any phone calls until 15 months later. So if you said you went to bed, that's what you remember. It's not like they're trying to like hide something. It was a 1-second phone call and a 7-second phone call. And if I was asked 15 months later, oh, and then confronted, like, did you really go to bed? Because there's a 7-second call at 2:20 a.m. And I'd be like, I don't fucking remember. Like, what else are you going to say besides a butt dial? Like, it's a 7-second call. It obviously is a butt dial. Like, there's no other explanation for a 7-second call or a 1-second call that you don't remember, right? So, I mean, this is something that they try to pull in a lot of trials. Like if you think about the Idaho 4 case, are they going to be like, oh, well, she texted? They might, but they don't have the propaganda to push it like they do in this trial. She called this person before she called 911, or she called this person, or like this kid did this, or these people had a fight a year ago. I know that they did try to, in that case, they were trying to get like records of people that had violent, like whatever, were corrected for violence at that school, and they refused. And the school wouldn't give that information up, or like the court ruled that they couldn't have it. Like there was some law in Idaho, which that is a fishing expedition. TB is a good man. He is not a good man. He is a nasty little rodent. He lies about everything. He harasses teenagers. I mean, I just want to. The thing is, like, there's so many times when I see. I don't think so. Colin had a history of violence. No, they didn't even bring that up at the last. I thought they were. I thought that's what they were going to say. What United was going to say. But what he said was, and I was like listening for it because you remember there was a bunch of videos that came out that was supposedly Colin Albert fighting someone. Yanetti's like, oh, and Colin Albert has a history of telling people that he was going to do violence or something like that. So he's talking about the Snapchats. There's no history of violence that we know of. So they don't have anything extra. Like that's why I can't believe they're going to like pull that again with the Snapchats. His whole act where he kissed his parents goodnight before he went to bed. I mean, I have no idea. If I know some kids are like that with their parents, some teenagers. They could be like that. I mean, I feel like why make that up? I don't think there are videos of him fighting at school. I know which videos you're talking about, but United did not say that in court, so I don't believe that it's real. Right. No bruises, but he beat John O'Keefe so bad he had bloody knuckles. Right. Oh, yeah. He did say it was Colin that walked across John's lawn when that was corrected in the first trial. So they don't have anything. That's what I mean. Like they have nothing. And the witnesses, I guess, will probably answer the same way. Yeah, he had no broken. Colin had bloody knuckles, but John had glass sticking out of his face like a splinter. Karen definitely killed him. I mean, I feel like there's no doubt about it. Like her car even is in on the conspiracy now. Like it's her car, it's the medics, it's herself, it's her dad, it's her own mouth. So I don't know. Yep, she is definitely guilty. And it's gonna be I don't know. The only way she's getting off is if she smuggles a scumbag onto the jury, which is a strong possibility, very strong possibility. I think that the more that comes out about the harassment, the more that people will start to wake up because people are on the side of Turtle Boy's propaganda and don't realize how much of a scumbag he is. And I think the more that we'll get in about that stuff, there's going to be more people waking up. Karen Reed, I don't understand how she's saying these things, like what she's thinking. Like she had 6 drinks and she put shots in it and she pulled a piece of glass out of his nose and she was pissed until she went to bed. I don't even remember which interview is which at this point. She's done so many. But saying that she was pissed until she went to bed, like, that's bad. After saying he didn't look mortally wounded, she was pissed at him. She hit him with the car. She knew she hit him, but she was so pissed that she didn't care that she hit him. She figured he'd just shake it off and go inside the house. And then she was mad that he was like banging someone else. Or she thought that he went inside the house and was banging someone. But when she woke up in the morning, she did not know. She realized that she hit him a little harder than she thought. And she was going to blame it on Lucky. And then she blamed it on everybody else. Oh, there's an emergency hearing tomorrow? It's an emergency hearing? Oh, pissed means drunk to me. Yes, she was pissed. Well, she said she was pissed until she went to bed. But she was angry and drunk. Oh, that's exciting. I wonder if it's going to be, if they're going to like put us on the ceiling fan the whole time. I hate that ceiling fan. I mean, all the sidebars in this case, I just feel like the judge could just lay it down for them to be like, do not bring this shit up. We're not doing this. And, you know, I'm going to kick you back to LA if you fucking start this shit. Oh, it's a production issue. Cosgrove might have an issue with producing the records under the parameters. Interesting. Well, that means at least that we know that there's something there. Remember, Turtle Boy was saying there's nothing there. They did everything on the Signal app, so I guess there's something there. The hearing, I think, is at 10 a.m. It should be a short one, I would guess. Cosgrove, get your act together. I mean, come on. How? Just give all the records. Who cares? Brendan can pick the ones he needs. I wonder about that too. Like, I feel like that would be like the easiest one. Let's just get Natalie in, have Natalie talk. Because, I mean, like, we've seen what her text messages are. I think that they're bad. They're bad enough. But I guess it is hearsay because it's not directly from Karen, right? She's repeating. I saw that. I was reading it and I was like, Kevin, Jen, Coffin Dapper. Oh. So there's something there. I hope they deny that order too. I think it's important that people see what's actually going on, because even if he does smuggle a pink person onto the jury, if they do get, I think that if enough of the true information comes out, I think they'll change their mind. I mean, the last trial when Jen McCabe testified, so many people DM'd me like, oh my God, I was wrong. So I think that people change. Like, if they're not listening to propaganda all day, they will see the truth. It is a cult. But if they can see it for what it is, which I think this is what part of the strategy is to like expose the cult, expose exactly what's going on, expose the propaganda machine, so that even if you do get people that are tainted with that on the jury, that they will wake up. But I don't know. So I will try to log in at 10 a.m. tomorrow and see what's going on. But until next time, don't drink 9 vodkas and run anyone over. Please.
you have to believe all of the McAlberts who testified. And so am I correct in saying that they found the McAlberts to be convincing witnesses and truth tellers?
Correct.
She stated to Miss McCabe, could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
She didn't say that. Who said? Jen McCabe says she said that.
I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
The firefighter said that she said that too.
Who's the firefighter?
Repeated, I hit him.
Katie McLaughlin, who's her best friend?
She's not a close personal friend of mine.
John O'Keefe and Karen Reed never entered my house.
12 people didn't see a guy go in the house. Like, that's what you were relying on.
12 people also didn't see a body when they left.
I did notice something out of the ordinary, like a black blob in the ground by the flagpole. I also was not looking out my window.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Did anybody in this courtroom ask you if you were looking out your window?
I wouldn't be staring at her grass, so no.
Okay. I didn't ask you where you were staring.
Karen, we saw you outside of my sister's.
I saw the black SUV arrived.
There was another vehicle in front of us.
Up the hill towards us.
On the same road coming from the opposite direction.
It was a black SUV.
I've noticed a male and a female in the car.
A car length and a half in front of me.
There was another car that I hadn't recognized before. It was a dark SUV.
Saw it pull up, stopped, pulled up again, stopped, pulled up again by the flagpole, stopped. That's all I saw.
Just turned around and looked through the blinds.
It wasn't going 50 miles an hour, correct?
I mean, I didn't have a radar gun on me, but no.
Goes up the driveway and approaches the side door.
0 people have said that they saw him enter the home.
Because he's dead.
And at any point in time, did you see anybody exit from that vehicle at any point?
No.
You never saw anyone around the SUV, correct? Correct.
Ryan Nagel didn't see him go in the house because he ran. Because he was real quick. Because he ran because it was cold out.
He must have ran real fast.
That makes sense to a lot of people. What doesn't make sense to anyone?
This phone did not enter that home.
Oh, really? Actually, it did.
That address. One of those individuals is dead and the other individual is alive. Ultimately, and there's damage to the vehicle, then that individual must be responsible for.
So he was going up and down the stairs between 1221 and 1224.
But Waze says he didn't get there till 1224.
The Waze does not say that.
They were with the ascending, descending stairs.
What the defense presented was concrete evidence by the most highly credentialed people and experts in this country.
There were also some puncture wounds in that shirt.
No!
I'm sorry, puncture wounds in the shirt?
Puncture holes.
Are you aware that Celebrite has had to modify their software based on misinterpretation of data, as you've done in this case?
Yes.
No!